In September of 2006, 20th Century Fox released a feature film into 130 American theaters. The studio held no press screenings before the release, did almost no marketing, and the film earned less than $500,000 in its opening weekend. Today, 20 years later, that same film is one of the most quoted political documents in modern American culture. The film is called Idiocracy, and almost nobody saw it the weekend it came out. Here is what we are covering today. The $4 million premise that almost did not get made. Why 20th Century Fox quietly buried its own film. How cable reruns and a meme economy rebuilt the cult. And the strangest twist of all, the people who keep calling Idiocracy a documentary, and the working-class satire catalog that frames why. Stick around.
Bella here. The premise is deceptively simple. An average army librarian named Joe Bowers volunteers for a 1-year hibernation experiment that goes wrong, and he wakes up 500 years later. Society has not collapsed in the usual ways, since there are still cities and functioning infrastructure. But the average person is now profoundly anti-intellectual. The smartest people stopped reproducing, while the dumbest reproduced freely for generation after generation.
Liam here. The cast was a small, strong ensemble. Luke Wilson played Joe, intentionally cast as the most average possible everyman, while Maya Rudolph played Rita, a co-volunteer Joe meets through the experiment. Terry Crews played the future president of the United States, an ex-wrestler named Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho, which is the kind of name that telegraphs how seriously this society takes its institutions.
Lewis here. The release was where things got strange. A studio film with name actors and an established comedy director normally opens in 2,000 theaters, but Idiocracy opened in 130. There were no advance press screenings, almost no posters, the trailer barely ran, and the opening weekend took in roughly $495,000, which for a $4 million budget is a write-off.
So we have a working comedy director, a competent cast, a workable budget, and a studio that quietly tried to make the film disappear on its way out the door. Just stick with us. Still ahead, the specific reasons the studio got cold feet, the cable run that rebuilt the audience from zero, and the moment in 2016 when critics started using the word that Mike Judge himself has been trying to deflect ever since.
The reason the studio panicked was simple. Idiocracy is built on brand parodies, and almost every real American brand of the 2000 era gets a mocking cameo somewhere in the runtime. The most watered drink in the future is called Brawndo, a thinly veiled jab at sports drinks. Costco runs the country, and H&R Block dispenses justice. Carl's Jr. runs the welfare system.
20th Century Fox's lawyers reviewed the cut and got worried. Lewis. The concern was less about lawsuits and more about advertiser relationships, which is the same studio's other business. The film would be on Fox cable channels eventually, and those cable channels run ads from the same companies the film mocks. Internally, that calculation tipped against giving the film a real release.
And the specific tactical move was the no press screening decision. In American theatrical releases, studios show new films to critics 3 to 7 days before opening, and reviews come out the morning of release to shape attendance. 20th Century Fox skipped that step for Idiocracy entirely, so critics had to buy tickets the same day general audiences did, and most of them simply did not bother.
Mike Judge has talked about this in interviews more than once. He has said he felt the studio gave up on the film, and that the way the release was handled told him the company had decided not to fight for it. He has also said, more recently, that he wishes the film did not feel like it ages better every year. Both statements have aged.
The film's recovery started in 2007 with the DVD release. Most of the people who would eventually love Idiocracy did not see it in a theater. They saw it on a friend's couch, in a dorm room, or rented from a video store back when video stores still existed. The DVD found the audience the theatrical run was prevented from finding.
And then cable picked it up. Bella, by the late 2000s, Comedy Central had Idiocracy in regular rotation, late at night, in 2-hour blocks. Cable reruns are the slowest possible audience builder, but they are reliable. Every year, a new wave of viewers stumbled into it past midnight, watched 15 minutes, and stayed.
Then, the quotability took over. Lines like "Brawndo has got electrolytes," "Plants crave Brawndo," and "Welcome to Costco," "I love you," started leaking out of the film and into everyday speech. Once a movie quote escapes into common language, the film itself becomes a kind of cultural shorthand, and you do not need to have seen Idiocracy to use a line from it. People who had never seen the film were quoting it by 2012.
Then came the meme economy. Liam, you saw this happen in real time around 2014, when screenshots from Idiocracy started appearing as reaction images on Twitter and Reddit. President Camacho in his Stars and Stripes wrestling outfit became a stand-in for any politician saying something absurd. The film stopped being a comedy people had watched and became a vocabulary people used to describe the world. Around 2016, something shifted. Major American film critics, in publications including The New Yorker, Slate, and The Atlantic, started using the same word about Idiocracy, and the word was documentary. Mike Judge has said in multiple interviews since then that he never wanted the film to feel like a documentary, and that the comparisons have only gotten more frequent every election cycle.
The parallels critics named were specific. A president who is a former entertainer, a national debate that gets resolved through televised insult contests, energy drinks marketed as nutritional staples, and a welfare system administered through fast food franchises. None of those were predictions in 2006, they were jokes. By 2016, several of them had concrete, real-world parallels, and the joke turned into a referendum on the audience.
Where this lands is Mike Judge's broader catalog. Bella, look at the rest of his work, and the through line is unmistakable. Office Space from 1999 is about a software engineer trapped in an indifferent office, while Idiocracy from 2006 is about a citizen trapped in an indifferent country. Silicon Valley from 2014 to 2019 is about engineers trapped in an indifferent venture capital ecosystem.
If you forget everything else in this video, remember this. Liam called out the through line and is real. Mike Judge has been making one story for 30 years. Ordinary people stuck inside indifferent systems, finding small ways to push back while the systems get larger and dumber around them. Idiocracy was supposed to be the most exaggerated version of that story, and it turned out to be the most accurate.
Here is the core takeaway. A $4 million comedy with name actors got the quietest theatrical release of 2006. The DVD and cable reruns rebuilt the audience the studio refused to find. And by 2016, critics were calling the film a documentary, which the director himself never wanted to hear.
My favorite beat was the Costco line. "Welcome to Costco. I love you." Once that escaped into common language, the film was no longer Idiocracy, like Rote and Olvery. It was a vocabulary.
If you have not seen Office Space, watch that next. It is the gentler version of the same story, and the through line is the same.
Subscribe if you want more cultural deep dives on films that got buried and came back. Next month, we are doing the strange case of Office Space itself.
This is Professor Erica. Thanks for watching and signing off.